Hi there. This is Jill. You get me tonight. Mark's not able to be here, so hi, M. Finn. I see you're here. So we'll be probably a little quicker than usual, but if you have questions, I'll give it a go. This is a little weird. I'm not used to watching myself here. I'm used to having a whole panel of people that I'm looking at, and I can't see you. I miss seeing you. And I also won't be in the chat, so I've got a little help there. If you have questions, please make sure you put them all in capitals, because I have to read them as they scroll up quickly through my screen, and I'll miss them if they're not in capitals. So that's what I'm watching for. A couple things this evening. Just wanted to point you to our Anyone Can Farm Tribe page on Facebook. If you're interested in having some conversations about farmsteading, have some questions, or homesteading, have some questions, want to ask us things, we post different things up there about what's going on the farm and that kind of stuff. Check it out. It's a private group. Come join us. We'll be happy to have you there. Love to see your pictures up there too. Check out what you're doing on your homestead and what you're doing for farming. That's the Anyone Can Farm Tribe on Facebook. All right, Scott's with us. On average, it disappeared already. How many rows of veggies can you inch wide bed? All right, Scott, it depends on what it is that you're planting. 26 inches, a little better than 2 feet. I usually go with 3-foot rows, and then I can plant corn. I found likes to go 2 rows in that space. I can get 3 rows of green beans or carrots. I've done with the cabbage. They like about a 2-foot square area. So I offset them and plant them kind of diagonally so that I've got one and then another one, so that they're 2 feet, they've got 2 feet square, but I can get them up a little bit closer together than if I was putting them in a straight row down. And then the thing I do is plant across from them. So you've got the cabbage plant, and then I can put an herb, or sometimes I'll stick, I don't know, I'd have to go back to my companion planting. Something that cabbage likes. Maybe I've done leeks, onions, basil, whatever. So that you're using up the space, it's not just dead space. And you can get more plants per square foot, but they all have the space that they want. So that's kind of how I found that it works out. Check your companion planting. Hi, Petey Dave, saw ya. Check your companion planting guides, and that's where I have the Back to Basics book out there, and I'm looking in it and checking, and because plants have buddies, and they have ones that they aren't so friendly with. And if you plant accordingly, you create symbiotic relationships in your garden, and your plants actually do better because they feed each other back and forth, and it works out good for them. Coming up soon, Homesteaders Guild. We're going to be starting our next round the first week of May. May 2, I believe, is our first call. If you're looking for someplace where you can get some community going, you've got people that you can talk to. You can talk to experienced farmers when you need them. That's always nice. We've got a Facebook forum group where you can get on and you can ask your questions, and you can ask them when you have them. You can ask them when you need them answered. You can ask people that have done the thing. There's a lot of people on Facebook and on the internet that have a lot of answers and not so much experience, which, Book learning is fine, and you can watch lots of videos. But sometimes you find that when you've done the thing, some things work better than others, and it kind of, you can weed through things a little bit better. Homesteaders Guild is a great place to have community and be able to talk to people face to face. We do calls where you're all on the screen. It's right from the comfort of your kitchen or your living room or office, wherever it is that you have your computer or your phone. And we'll be out in the field more, of course, with summer. So a lot of interesting things. We'll go more in depth on the processes of farming. So if you're wanting, Scott had a garden question, we'll go out to the garden and we'll show you what we're doing with our beds and how we're planting. Mark will show you his compost and the soils. It's a real pseudo hands-on, your hands and your dirt, and we'll talk about it. That's the Homesteaders Guild. It's a good time. It's a great place to learn, great place to have community. Students from former classes have commented that that's one of their favorite things about it, besides the information straight from Mark. So you're getting a farmer's perspective. They get to talk to other people right there, ask their questions. Glad you made it tonight. And just having that camaraderie, getting to yell and say, I'm frustrated as anything, and everyone gets it. And we might laugh at you, but we also support you and say, hey, you're going to make it. It's all good. That's the Homesteaders Guild, bakersgreenacres.com. You can get more information up about it. You can message us if you have any questions. We'd be happy to talk to you. Pastured poultry, that's going to be in June 22. We got chicks today. Woohoo! Summer is started. I made a video about it. Rachel will probably get it up tomorrow, get it edited and get it up. Summer has officially begun. When we get chicks, that's it. So we got those going in the brooder today. It was kind of nice. I had some extra help. Sam was around since Mark's not home today. So it was nice to have some manly help. But they're all in there. They're doing good. They're all spread out and happy. We'll start there with pastured poultry class. Yeah, it was super exciting fun on the homestead. It's summer, right? Summer starts when you get chickens. So, or get chicks. Pastured poultry will take you from the chicks in the brooder. And you can ask all your questions there. You can see the principles behind brooding and what you need to know so that you can go home and successfully do it on yours, because I can tell you we've had a lot of unsuccessful brooding experiences. We've had the sawdust light on fire a couple times with heat lamps. We've had chicks pile up. They love, when they get scared, they like to get really close to each other. So if they're hot, they're cold, there's a thunderstorm, they pile up. It's really sad, but there's things to know that'll just help you make sure that you succeed. You've got all those little tricks of the trade that you know. So brooding, raising them on pasture, and then we'll actually process a couple chickens. You'll get to actually do the thing, which is nice. I mean, you can watch YouTube videos, and then you can go out and stumble your way through it and experiment, or you can come to Baker's Green Acres, and you can do it, and we'll tell you exactly how, all the ins and outs, all the things to avoid and watch out for, and you'll be good to go. You'll know it because you've done it. That's the best way to know. That's coming up on June 22. We've got fencing coming up very shortly. It's the first Saturday in May. I don't remember the exact date. Yeah, you get to spend a day on the farm. Thanks, Fun on the Homestead. Nothing like spending a day on the farm. And you get to ask all your questions, and you get to look at how we do it. If you have ever chased pigs or had to put your goats in for the 20th time, or looked out your living room window and seen a cow watching you through the window? That's always fun. Um, you'll appreciate the value of good fences. There's some things to know. We have fenced in all of those, and sheep. We've never fenced in llamas, but I'd imagine they're pretty close. So Mark has figured out, he's kind of got at least our belt and suspenders method of fence building down to a science, and it works really well. And we've learned things along the way. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. You're welcome to come and learn from all of our mistakes, figure it all out without having to go through the pain of, chasing your cows out of your neighbor's flower bed. It's always a good thing. That's coming up the first weekend of May. That's also on the website. You can sign up for that. Or let us know that you're coming and we'll figure it out. The corner posts that Mark builds, I can tell you, we've seen a lot of fence posts around here that some of our neighbors have put in. And they didn't build them the same, the corner posts. And because this is around us a lot of wet, marshy ground, they're starting to come out. And we said, oh, well, that kind of stinks when you've got your whole fence up. And 5 years into it, the corner posts start to go like this. And then you got to go out and reaccomplish your fence. It's not a lot of fun. Marks haven't moved. It's pretty cool. He learned it in Montana, where they build their fences over rock outcroppings. And I've literally seen it's not a corner post, but you put a spacer or a support in the middle of your fence, sitting on rock, hard rock. The fence went up a hill, and then they had a support, and then it continued on, and right there was a rocky ledge. And it was there, it had obviously been there for a while, and that's who we learned from. And it works really good, so that's what you'll learn how to do. Build fences that last, and that will hold your animals in. Always a good thing. So, I'm happy to take questions, if you have any. We had a good gardening one. And if you don't have questions, this is going to be short and sweet. And it'll be good. And I promised the kids popcorn if they cleaned up the kitchen. So hopefully they're on that. I don't know. We had snow here this weekend. We got like 10 inches. It wasn't any fun at all. Changed a lot of plans. But it's gone now. And now it's raining. I got a picture from somebody out east, so if any of you are back east, New England area, I hear you're having sunshine, and I'm jealous. That must be nice. We'd love some, but the rain is good. It'll drive the frost out of the ground and help warm it up. Ken, growing lavender from seed. We tried. Rachel tried this spring again, and she got her basil to go, and what's this one, Rachel?
That one's rosemary.
Oh, and rosemary.
The lavender got done.
But the lavender met with disaster. It got dumped over, and it never did come up. So that was our experience with growing lavender from seed. We tried it last spring in the greenhouse, but I think our seed was really old. And we didn't get any sprouts from it either. So, I don't know. That's been our experience. Yep. To show up and see what's going on. This is Frank. You see? They said, hi, Frank. Yeah, Ken, we have had trouble with it too. I don't know, have you tried doing it with the wet paper towel? Where you get paper towel wet, you put the seeds in the middle, put it in a Ziploc, and let it sit and see what happens. I think that's the next thing we're going to try with our seed, because if we put it in the dirt, we can't get it to go. I don't know what the deal is. I need to ask somebody who does more greenhouse work than I do. But how it turns out if you do that. Yeah, let me know, Ken. I'd be interested. It'd be great. I think that you're in the tribe. You should post pictures there if you are, and if you get it to germinate. 'cause that'd be kind of cool to see. Be fun to know some extra tricks. But actually, anytime that you're having trouble getting seed to germinate, that's a way to give it a go and see if your seed's any good. Seed companies, the way that they harvest seed, all seeds, what we get through the catalogs is the seed that is least likely to germinate and least likely to make the good, healthy plants. The big growers, the guys that grow the seed for the seed companies, they get the best seed. The guys that are big, huge commercial growers, they get the second choice seed. And then they package up all the rest. That has all the cracked ones, the tiny seeds, all of the questionable seeds. And that's what we get. So that's why sometimes the seed doesn't try and rock wool growing it. Go for it, Ken. That'd be cool. If it works, let us know. If it doesn't work, let us know so we don't try that either. But yeah, especially if you're, like I said, on that Anyone Can Farm Tribe Facebook page, well, so that'd be cool. But no matter what seed it is that you're getting, you always know that when it says 90% germination rate, that's optimistic. We don't get the primo seed. The best place to get seed, actually the best seeds, are if you know somebody that saves them locally. Sometimes there's co-ops. I know for a while they were trying to get a seed cooperative going around here, and it never quite took off. But there's a couple of guys that do save seeds, and they make their extras available. There's a guy, I saw him, someone had jumped on here one night and mentioned Michigan Gardener. And it's migardner.com. And I checked out his site. And I think I'm going to get some of my seed from there. I've been kind of lazy and just busy with other stuff, so I haven't ordered yet. But I'm going to order some of mine from him. It's local seed. Mark said he doesn't like Premier One fencing for pigs. Did you have a certain problem? That would be a Mark question. I'm not sure what the Premier One fencing is. I know he uses Premier One fencing as Susan. I can give it a go because I know what he's used and I know things that haven't worked so good. As I'm digging back through, Susan, is Premier One the electric netting fence? Is what I'm kind of remembering. Let me know. Yes. Okay. Yeah. We have not had good success with that. If you use that with pigs, make sure you have an extremely good fencer and that it's extreme connection, because those fences, if they don't hit the animals super hard, teach them that they have to back off and reinforce it every time they get near that fence. We've had animals get wrapped up in it. We've had pigs get it. You know, animals have a supernatural gift. Okay, I'll try to get back to you, Eddie, if I remind me if I forget. And that's been one of our biggest issues with those electric netting fences, is animals getting tangled in them. Even with a good fencer, that was just our lesson. We untangled goats that were choking, goats that had gotten wrapped up in it and were just getting the shock, and they were out there, and you know, they'd been getting shocked for half an hour before we finally were outside and heard them and rescued them. And it wasn't great. Chickens can go right through it, so it doesn't really protect your chickens that well, because they'll come and go through it and they'll be out where the animals can get them. And so that's why we don't recommend it. It seems like it'd be easy. It's also really hard to move. When I would try to move it for the goats, it would get tangled. and it was such a headache. Um, so that's why we don't like it, and we don't recommend it. It's hazardous to the animals, in our experience. Other people have used it and loved it, but we didn't have good success and just felt like it wasn't worth the expense and the effort and the hazard. Plain and simple. You know, if your animals are going to choke in it or get shocked for unlimited lengths of time until you catch up with them, it's just not fun. So, Eddie had a question about saving seed. Some seeds are super simple. Corn, we've saved, you just let it stay on the stalk until it's all dented and dried, and then you shell it off, and voila, there's your corn. Potatoes, that's super simple. You just save the biggest, nicest ones. That really would be great to eat. But they're your best seed stock. So you save your biggest, nicest ones, and you want to leave a good bit of potato on it when you plant it in the spring. Let it sprout the eyes, and that's easy. Green beans, same thing. You just let them dry down on the vines, and then get the beans out of the shells. I have had lettuce. I haven't saved radish seed. My radishes have gone to seed a lot, and they self-seed. They're really, really good at it. They'll come back the next year. I had rat-tailed radishes in the garden for probably 7 years before they finally, I think, got eradicated. And they just kept planting themselves back. It was great. Spinach, that's pretty easy seed. A lot of things, you just let them go to seed, let it dry down, and then harvest the seeds. I have a good book that I've dived into a tiny bit called Seed to Seed that really describes a good way to do it, and has a lot of, I see a Lone Star fruit trees in a moment, that really describes when to harvest them, what they look like, how to keep seed, because that's the next challenge, is keeping the seed and maintaining its health and vitality over the winter. The one fella that we've learned from out here, he keeps his in the freezer, and he's talked about that, keeping it, and different ones keep it. So it's good to find a book. Seed to Seed is a good one. I think even in the Back to Basics, it talks a little bit about saving seed, and like I told you, some of them are super simple, and they're real easy. Green beans, corn, potatoes, even tomatoes. You get your super ripe tomato. You just kind of squash it up, get all those seeds out, squash it up, leave them in a bowl on the counter in water, and it's like about 3 days. You get a mold on top. You rinse it off, rinse the seeds good, let them dry on use like one of your dinner plates. Don't put them on a paper plate because they stick. So use a dinner plate, let them dry, and voila. Green peppers. That's an easy one. Last year, we got red peppers because they'll sell you red pepper seed. If you leave your green peppers on your plants, they will turn red. So red peppers are really very ripe green peppers. Leader that we splurged on, and then we just cut the seeds. You scoop the seeds out before you cut the pepper up, and we put them out on a plate, and let them dry, and then we planted them. And we had a lot of green peppers. It worked out really good. So, that's when you don't even have to save. You can just go to the store and get one. Of course, then there's no saying what the seed is all about. But they worked out fine, and the peppers were beautiful. So, that's kind of on seed saving. Let's see, Lone Star had a question about what fruit trees we grow in our area. Let's see, northern lower Michigan. I forget, I think we're a zone 4, if I remember right. Zone 4, maybe 5. Apples all do good. Plums, pears, peaches, cherries. I'm not remembering I think that's just about it. if there's anyone else from these zones that wants to chime in and tell us what you're growing for trees, fruit trees, that'd be great. I'm not sure what zone are you in, Lone Star? Um, if you let me know. I don't know if you're on a par with our northern Michigan area, but apple trees of all sorts. We want to do some grafting. Oh, 8. So you can do a lot more things. You can grow all sorts of fun things. Our cold weather's a little limiting, even with some of them like cherries. Just north of us in Traverse City, they grow a lot of cherries. Up on the peninsulas, the Lake Michigan. Let's see. Yep, Lake Michigan on this side. Traverse City's right up about here. And there's a couple deep bays with 2 peninsulas that come up. They grow a lot of cherries and a lot of peaches up there. They're a little bit more protected because of the bay. But down here, even sometimes frost can be an issue with cherries. But they grow. They do well. So, what else is going on out there? What are you guys thinking about? Anybody else starting chicks right now? Or have your chicks going already? I think it was on our Facebook Live. We're not doing our Saturday mornings anymore. So that's part of why we'd love to see you in the tribe. We're not going to do our Saturday morning lives just because it's getting to be summer. And our Saturday mornings are becoming precious. It's great to visit with you all, but, you know, we got to go get our work done too. So Facebook, the Anyone Can Farm Tribe, that's where we can interact more and stuff. But, yeah. So, pretty quiet tonight. I don't know if we'll have Mark back next week or not. Yeah, Ken. Yeah, it's nice to be someplace where you can have them. People in cities get a little funny about it. Susan, you have to build your brooder first. How many are you going to raise? Susan, I thought you had a handful of them already. Maybe it was someone else I was thinking of. Eddie's got tomatoes and peppers started. Be a few months before we get chicks. Yeah, you have layers. You were going to get, that's right, Susan, you were going to do your first group of broilers this year, if I remember right. I talk to a lot of people and sometimes I forget, but I try and remember. Yeah, 50 of them. We got a bunch of the white Cornish broilers today, and I got 50 Freedom Rangers in there. I think Mark's talked about them before. They're cute. They're brown. You'll see them in the video tomorrow, I think, that Rachel's going to get posted for me. But they look like a large layer. When they first came to us for the custom processing, people said, "Oh yeah, these are our broilers," and we said, "Well, they're layers. They're brown." But no, they were these Freedom Rangers, which was pretty cool. So our broilers, we don't feed them high-speed feed, and we put them out on the pasture. So typically they take about 8.5 to 9 weeks for us. The Freedom Rangers will go an extra cycle, so they'll go an extra 4 weeks. But they taste fabulous. They end up with a really nice meaty carcass like the broilers. Last year, ours got to be 5.5 and 6.5 pounds. They were big. They did put on a little more fat. You can peel that off when you process them if you don't like that. We like to leave it in. Fat is flavor. Fat is where all of those good fat-soluble vitamins are. Good for you, Ken. See, anyone can farm. One way or another, you can feed yourself just a little bit. Oh yeah, fat is flavor with the Freedom Rangers. But because they're a little older, and because they like to range even more than the broilers. The broilers, if you got to have them in the tractors in something so that they're forced to move every day. If you don't force them to move, they don't. They are the couch potatoes of poultry land. They'll just sit there, get up and go to the water, sit down at the feeder again to take a nap, and then they eat again and get a drink of water and take a nap at the feeder. That's what they do. So you got to move them every day or they don't move. The Freedom Rangers are like the layers in the to move, and they like to get out and really good at that. And they didn't come, the hens like to come up to the backyard. They were nice, but they didn't come and poop on our doorstep, which was also nice because they are attached to their feeders more than the layers are. So they work out good. We liked them. We find that the broilers sell better. We get a better return on those for some of our CSA things and selling. But other than that, we like the Freedom Rangers for ourselves. Lone Star, our Facebook page, we have Baker's Green Acres. And that one, you know, we just post all different stuff, and it's this and that and the other thing. The Anyone Can Farm Tribe is our other Facebook page. That's a group. So you can join our group and get involved and post your own stuff on there. Ask more questions. Try and input more. It's a group. So it's not all the Facebook world, and people can't troll it, and it's just people with the same interest having a good time on sharing our stuff. So those are our two pages, Baker's Green Acres and Anyone Can Farm Tribe. We have a secret page, a closed group for our Homesteaders Guild. So if you join that, that's a page that's dedicated to the things that we're talking about specifically on that page. Yeah, thanks, Fun on the Homestead. So that's what we've got going on Facebook. Hope to see you there. That'd be cool, Lone Star. So what else have you guys got going on? Oh, great. We'll get you in there, Lone Star. And then you can show us your fruit trees. Tell us what you've got going on. Eddie, that's a great idea. Would you please? And that works out really good. We also grow them for ourselves, and where they haven't spoken ahead, especially, and we've sent out quite a few this winter. I was surprised. I'm glad I grew that many extra for us, because we're not going to be short, but that went out as we did pigs, and people got them. So it worked out good. So that's a great idea, Eddie. Hope that works out good for you too. Our laying hens. We've got a couple different breeds. Isa Browns. Mark got a bunch of those last spring. They're a really good layer. They're a little bit lighter. Ooh, rattlesnakes. We don't have those in Michigan, and I kind of like that. Let's see, layers. We've got Isa Browns. They're a really good layer. They're a little bit lighter. They're not broody. They're nice hens. They're really friendly. We also have, I like the Buff Orpingtons. Frank is having to deal with 2 broody hens right now, and we have a rooster in there. So one of our spring projects is to build a place where they can brood, and Mark's going to make a special house for them by the garden. And they can hopefully hatch out some chicks. We've had them do that before. Other years when they've been out. You know, you always have a few that get out and run around and do their thing. There's one in every crowd. And there's always a few. And we've had them hide, and then they show up with a nest of chicks, and it's a lot of fun. So Buff Orpingtons are good for that. They're also a heavier layer than the Isa Browns. So when they're all done laying and you get around to putting them in the stew pot, you get a little bit more off them. So we like those guys. And that's what we have in our flock. We've had other breeds over the years, and, you know, they've all laid well. We always have a few Americanas just for fun, because it's fun to have the green eggs. We had one that laid rosy-colored eggs one time. They're pretty cool. It's a novelty. Frank thinks it's a treasure hunt. It's like Easter every time he goes to get eggs. He gets colored eggs. Woo! So, especially if you have kids. That's a fun one. Yeah. There's some, you guys with your rattlesnakes. Michigan doesn't have rattlesnakes. Well, we do have rattlesnakes. Susan pointed that out. But, you know, I grew up here, and I'm, well, older than what I feel like. So, I've never seen one, which makes me kind of happy. I saw them out in Montana a lot, but not here in Michigan. Just fine. Ken, we did have ducks. We have inherited a few different breeds over the years as we are doing processing, and people say, I don't really want to eat it, but, you know, I don't want it anymore. And I said, yeah, well, they just hang out. They do a lot of cleanup for us because they just mosey around in the yard and do this and that. Muscovies, if I was to get them, I get Muscovies. They don't quack. They just kind of make this weird hissing sort of sound. So they're not loud, which is a bonus. They don't quack. They're known to be very good foragers. And they do. Well, I had to watch them in the garden. Then sometimes they were, what was it last year? They were eating cabbages or something. Brussels sprouts. They were cleaning out my Brussels sprouts. I was not impressed with them. And so we made it a point of chasing them out of the garden. And our Great Pyrenees dog, Claire, figured out we didn't want them in there. And so she happily helped us out a little bit. She didn't chase them once they were out of the garden. She's not supposed to be in the garden either, but she considered that she had permission if she was moving the ducks out. She granted herself permission to go in the garden to chase the ducks. But the Muscovies are really nice, and they don't have as much oil on their feathers. So they process better. That was one of the other reasons. They get nice and heavy, especially the drakes. They can be easily 5 and 6 pounds. And we don't have to work as hard to get them plucked because they don't have as much oil in the feathers. So we're pretty good with ducks, but the Muscovies are really easy. So that's why we had Muscovies. They were happy. They moved around. They just hung out, cleaned up around here. Yeah, Ken, we've got the butter series. That was kind of fun. We have one more in the series. Unfortunately, half of it was still on the device that Mark took with him out of town, and so Rachel and I will have to, when he gets back, and get that back up and put together, unless we just decide to redo it. But it's kind of fun. Butter's cool. We'll show you how to make ghee in the last one. I like ghee. Sorry. Eddie had a question, something there. If you have a question, if you could put it in caps, that just helps me see it while I'm going here. Do you still have to wax the ducks? You know what? We tried waxing, and we made a beautiful mess. So if you've waxed before and it's worked out good for you, I tip my hat to you. We tried it. The guy that we were processing for that wanted us to do it because he was trying to sell them and everything, he even sat with us and did it. And he said, yeah, you know, it's okay. We don't have to do this. What we do is actually we end up dunking them twice. So put them in, if the water's, we never do them first. We always do them after everything is really hot. Put them in, and you just put them in the water. We rub them, massage them, make sure that the water can get really down under the feathers. So we brush the feathers the wrong way and up and down and everything until you can kind of start to pull the feathers out on their legs. Put them through the plucker. And then if they're still really feathery, we just put them in the scalder again. And usually 2 times around. And we can get them pretty close. If we can't get them perfectly clean, we get them like 90%. So that's what we've found for ducks. We've done a lot of them. And we've tried every way that anyone told us. Someone told us you fill two besides the waxing, if you put a little slit in, right about in the neck, and then run a cold water hose in, and kind of put a lot of cold water between the skin and the carcass. I don't remember if that was supposed to make them skin better or pluck better. I don't know, but it didn't work. It didn't help, whichever one it was supposed to do. So that's what we do: double pluck, double skin, or double dip them, and run them through the plucker, and it works pretty good. Lone Star, Mangalitsa is a cold weather pig. Is there such a thing as a hot weather pig? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. The white ones will sunburn, and they need a wallow too. I don't know. I don't know if there's a hot weather pig. With all the breeds that we've had, I think they all take the heat about the same. They want their wallow. They'll make a wallow. Even if you give them one, they'll make one at their waterer because that's what they do. I know the Mangalitsas have taken the cold. They're amazing. You probably saw, yeah, we put up the video of the snowstorm that we just had this weekend. And Mark showed you the pigs out there. It was amazing. And other storms that we've had this winter, the snow would blow right, they'd be in an igloo out there. The snow would blow up over them, and they'd have burrowed into the straw, and you don't see pigs out there, just like you saw in the video. They're just gone. It doesn't faze them, not at all. Our other pigs would have been cold and shivering and wanted to eat tons and tons and tons, but Mangalittas don't really care at all. But they tolerate the heat real well too. And the other ones seems all about the same. They're just a real, I think it's, as we've talked to other people, the heritage breeds as a group, Susan, nice. It'll make you a believer, won't it? All the heritage breeds as a group just seem a lot more resilient. They seem to tolerate the weather changes, tolerate whatever feeds you give them. They'll turn it into pork. Absolutely, heritage pigs are the way to go on a homestead. Lone Star, we don't ship live pigs. We don't ship any of our animals live. People have asked about puppies too. We haven't had the call to do it. It seems like a lot of extra stress on the animal. I know people do it, put them in dog crates and take them to the airport, and they ship that way. But we've never done it. Yeah, local pickup only. We have hauled pigs out to deliveries before. We made one run out to Maine one year because we had a trailer load of pigs, and it was worth our while to go and do it. So, you know, there's always that option, as long as it's worth our while. We love to travel. We love to go see other people's farms. Eddie, yeah, we don't get 4 to 5 feet here. Up in the UP, they will. Yeah, we'd come to Texas. Absolutely, that'd be fun. But our snow here, in a heavy winter, we maybe get 3 feet, 2 feet, usually. The last few winters, it seems like this winter we had more, but we also had a lot of ice. So, yeah, we love to travel. We love to go see other people's places. It's one of, we have done that over the years. We've done quite a bit of traveling. We've taken our hog harvest on the road. We've gone out to Ohio with that. We've gone up to the UP. We've gone to Massachusetts. That's always a good time. It's fun to see other people's places. You can get a group together. Let's see. I think all of those, no, the one in Massachusetts, we brought pigs out there. The other 2 places, they had pigs, and so we butchered their pigs and ran a class there. And they got their pigs done, and they learned how to do it the next time. In both cases, they turned around, and the next year they did it on their own, and we're happy. Because it's really nice when you starting it as piglets or chicks or whatever, and then you put it in the freezer yourself, and you've had control of the whole process. You know that the animals were raised humanely, fed well, and that they had a stress-free death too. You don't want those stress hormones. You don't need to eat adrenaline. The world is stressful enough without consuming it in your food. Yeah, my phone's not charging as we go here, so we may be done soon. And the other part of it, besides having control of the whole process, is I enjoy making stuff. I like making sausage. Rachel and I sliced up bacon tonight, or this afternoon. It's good. We like our bacon, and we can give it the flavors that we want. I can throw different spices in and play with flavors. It's sort of a science and an art all together. Are we going to have piglets in November? Quite possibly. That way too. Kind of reverse engineer it. Have to do the math. But it's a good possibility, Lone Star, definitely. And especially, like I said, if we know that you want some, we can make that happen. So, my phone is not charging, and so rather than just suddenly disappear on you, I think we'll call it good. My smartphone is not smart. It's in fact a dumb. I tell it that a lot. So, I'm going to sign off for tonight. Thank you for coming. Remember, you can check out and learn from our events and figure out what we've done wrong. You can come and learn from us. We'd love to help you with your learning curve. Help you make your homesteading experience a little more smooth. You can find out all those ways, bakersgreenacres.com. Scott, we have no snow now. It's all gone because it's raining. Woohoo! We don't mind the rain. And it's like 50 degrees. So it's all gone. Yay. Join us on our Bakers Green Acres Facebook page. Check out the Anyone Can Farm Tribe group. We'd love to have you there and see what you're doing. So this is Jill from Bakers Green Acres. Anyone can farm. Have a good night.